guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. So today I decided to film a how to survive deployment / deployment tips. My boyfriend is currently deployed and he will be home in a few weeks, so I'm really excited for that. And I just wanted to give you guys tips and stuff of how I survive, because I know there's a lot of people that go through deployment and sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do. So I just figured I'd make a video and tell you guys how I have survived it this far. So if you guys want to see how I have survived this deployment this far, then just keep on watching. So the first tip I have to share is to count the weeks or months, not days. And this is very important because you do not even want to try and count the days, because you're literally going to drive yourself nuts. I don't know, if you think about it, okay, so say they're gone for 6 or 7 months. It's better to count that in or weeks than you're just going to sit and dwell on it, and it's not going to be good for you or anyone. So my biggest thing is to count by the months or weeks, because the time is just going to seem like it's going to fly by faster, and that's what you want. So yeah, just do not count by days whatsoever. And the second tip I have is to set goals. And the important thing about this one is you don't want to set too large goals, because if you set large goals, then pretty much it's not going to be realistic and you're going to end up disappointing yourself in the long run. And you really don't want to do that. So it's just best to set short goals, or goals that you know are realistic and you know that you're going to get, because then you're going to know that you achieved them and you're going to be happy about it. So you just don't want to set big goals that you know is going to just, you're going to be disappointed in the end, because you're not going to reach those goals and then you're just going to be upset, and it's not going to be good for anyone. And then the third tip I have is it's okay to be sad and to cry. And yes, it's okay to be sad and to cry, because I find myself sad sometimes, when I'm sitting in my house, just thinking about it, and sometimes I tend to cry. It's okay, but at the same time, you don't want to dwell on it too much, because you're just going to get depressed and it's just not going to be good for you. It's not going to be healthy. So this goes into another thing I have, another tip. So we'll just do that for number 4. And the fourth tip I have is to stay busy. You can stay busy by going and doing things that you like to do. Go shopping, go exercise. Exercise is great for stress and depression and everything like that. So if you want to go exercise, go for a run. That will help. I usually, to stay busy, I usually work a lot. I mean, I already work a lot, but if I really find myself not working as much and I feel like I'm staying home too much, I will pick up extra shifts just to stay busy, because I know that if I'm sitting at home, I'm just going to dwell on everything and it's just not going to be good. And then the 5th tip I have is to send care packages. Your significant other will love this, because it's kind of just you're sending a piece of home to them, because okay, of course they're not home, they're not getting the treats and the snacks and stuff we have back here. So it's just I don't know, they really appreciate it, and it's a good thing to do. It keeps you busy. You can be creative with the care packages and you can send anything you want in them. So it's just really cute and it's a good idea to do. So I've sent 5 or 6 already, so I really enjoy making care packages, and yeah, it's just a good thing to do. Tip number 6 I have is communication, and of course in any relationship this is so important. You want to communicate with them, and I know sometimes it's hard to communicate just because their way, it gets stressful and you don't really know how to talk about it, because you're not face to face with them, and it can just be so much. And also they can be really busy, so it's gonna be hard sometimes for you guys to communicate, because they're not always gonna be on their phone. So you got to think about that too, because you can't really get mad at them for not being on their phone and being busy, because that's their job, that's what they're there for. You got to kind of understand that. So just remember that when you can communicate, and just make sure that it's good communication and things should all play out. Tip number 7 is establish mutual trust. Okay, trust, of course, in any relationship is very important to keep a relationship. So, and I know it's hard for when they're deployed or when they're away to feel like you can trust them, I guess. I mean, obviously you should trust them, but it's just harder because, you know, they're away, you're not there with them, you don't really know what they're doing throughout their day because, you know, sometimes they're just so busy. Like I said, sometimes it's hard to even communicate with them. So you just gotta establish a trust, and you gotta set boundaries for, you know, your relationship. But yeah, trust is very important. Tip number 8 I have is surround yourself with positive people. And this is important too because you don't want, you know, you're already stressed enough as it is, and you want to surround yourself with negative people because that's just going to bring you down more. And also, like, these people that you surround yourself with can help you through this time because, like I said, sometimes it's hard to talk to your spouse because they can be very busy when they're deployed. And if you lean on other people like your family or your close friends, that will really help you through deployment. So I would recommend that if you are going through a deployment, that you need to lean on your friends and your family because it's going to help you out so much. Tip number 9, remember that it is only temporary. Like, this deployment is not going to last forever. Although it may seem like it lasts forever, it will not last forever. And you don't want to sit and dwell on it. Like I keep saying, I keep reiterating the same thing. You don't want to sit and dwell on it because the longer you do that, you're just going to get upset. You're going to get depressed. You're going to cry all the time. And it's just not going to be good. So if you kind of think, you know, long term, and just think that, like, okay, because it isn't permanent, it's temporary, like they will be home. And you're going to have them back in your life, and it's going to be okay. Tip number 10 I have is FaceTime. And I guess you would say me and my boyfriend are pretty lucky because we get to FaceTime a good bit. He usually is busy throughout the day, and of course the time difference is different between me and him. It's a 6-hour difference. So it's kind of hard to, like, it was kind of hard at the beginning to adjust to a schedule, but now we kind of have ourselves on a set schedule where we can talk to each other, and we still get to FaceTime, so that's really nice. I know some people don't get to do that, but I think we're lucky enough to be able to FaceTime each other and be able to see each other and, you know, just talk about our day and how things went. But yeah, I think FaceTime is very important because it's like they're there with you, and if you can FaceTime, then I would definitely FaceTime. Tip number 11, try to keep all your problems on the low. So obviously you want to tell them your problems, that, you know, they're your significant other. You want to tell them things that's bothering you, things that's going on. But at the same time, you don't want to stress them out. Like, you don't want to drown them in all your stresses and all your worries and everything that's been going on, because when you do that, like, I don't know if people realize, but they're already stressed enough. Like, they go through so much over wherever they're at in deployment. They go through so much, and they don't really need, as like harsh as that sounds, they don't really need the extra stress. It's okay to sometimes like rant and vent to them about problems, but like one of the tips I mentioned before, it's good to have close friends. They're going to be people that you can talk to, because you can't always go to your significant other when he's deployed for all your problems, because that's just going to stress him out, and he doesn't need the extra stress. So you can really just try and get your friends and family to lean on and talk to them about your problems, because of course they'll probably understand you too, and it kind of eliminates stressing your significant other out more than they already are. So tip number 12. This is kind of like goes along with the setting goals tip, saving money. Saving money is good when you're deployed, or when your significant other is deployed, because you guys can both set aside money for like when you get back. That way you guys can like both treat each other or treat yourselves. You guys can go on a trip or something, do something nice when they get back. So, I mean, me and my boyfriend already made a plan to set aside some money. So, when he comes home, we can both, like, you know, spoil each other. Or, of course, when we go to Marine Corps Ball, we're going to need money for the trip and stuff like that, the hotel and a cost for that. So, we're setting aside money for that. And that kind of just helps because that also helps you stay busy with work and stuff like that. And then setting aside money to do things. So I would say setting aside money would be a good option to do because that way you're staying busy too with work. That way when your significant other comes home, you guys can both do something fun and it'll be worth it. So okay, tip number 13. I have think happy thoughts and keep the negative ones away. This is kind of common sense. Like, you don't want to sit and think about all the negative thoughts and all the negative things that's going on. You kind of want to think happy because, you know, obviously if you're thinking negative, nothing good is going to come out of thinking negative thoughts. So if you just think happy thoughts, like, you know, you can think, what are you guys going to do when he comes home? Or, you know, you just think about your future and like what you guys have planned for the future, because if you think about that, it kind of makes you strong and makes you hold on. So you have something to look forward to. So I would say that thinking these happy thoughts and thinking like long term and what's going to happen when he comes home is just going to help you guys both in the long run. Tip number 14 I have is breathe. And this is just so important because sometimes you just get too overwhelmed and you get too stressed out, and sometimes you don't know how to deal with situations. But I think breathing is just like so important. Sometimes you just need to set your phone down. Sometimes you just need to take a walk, get a breath of fresh air, and just breathe. Tip number 15. I have prayer for that. And I know some people aren't big on prayer, or some people don't pray. And if you don't pray, I'm sure there's people that you know that you can confide in and that they will pray for you. And even if you don't pray, you don't want anyone to pray for you, you don't have to do this tip, or you don't have to, you know, you don't even have to worry about it. But if you do pray, or if you want somebody to pray for you, I'm sure you can find somebody, and prayer is very important. If you're praying, it can do wonderful things. But yeah, so I've prayed a good bit through this deployment, and it has helped me. But yeah, so if you pray, or if you know someone who does pray and can pray for you, I would reach out to them and, you know, be like, hey, you know, I'm going through a lot, or just tell them your situation and say, I need prayed for, can you pray for me? Stuff like that, because prayer is very important, and I'm sure it will help you get through it. Alright guys, that concludes this video on my deployment tips and how to survive deployment. If you have any questions, feel free to message me or leave a comment in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope this helped someone out. I know deployment is not the easiest thing to go through, and you definitely shouldn't do it alone. You can get through it. You're strong. You're beautiful. You can do it. Just, you gotta stay strong. Alright guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.